Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I'll be guiding you on this journey today. And I've gone back to making like little intro videos to put at the beginning of each reading. So that's what this is. And I'm stalling because I can't remember what I was actually going to say in this intro. Memory. Anyway, okay, here we go. It's all coming back to me now. Couple things. I'm going to stick to just doing human design profile readings for the time being. I also am going to start doing readings by type as well. So, there'll be a reading for manifestors, there'll be a reading for projectors, there'll be a reading for generators and manifesting generators. I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep those in one reading for now anyway, until I feel differently about it. And then reflectors as well. So I'm going to add those readings in, but I just, a little birdie told me to stick with those. And I think, honestly, in great part because those are the readings that I actually get like a response on, and there's more engagement in those readings that I put out. And that's what I want, and being a manifesting generator myself, right? It's responding. So, instead of doing the zodiac signs and the human design profile readings, at least for the next little while, I don't know how long that'll last until a birdie tells me to do differently. And obviously that birdie is like my intuition or like my own like personal guidance, right? But that's what I'm going to do for the time being. And I think like part of why I haven't necessarily done that sooner is because I really haven't been engaging with or like super I don't know, whatever the fucking word is. Like, how annoying is that? To not be able to find the right word. I just haven't been as in the realm of human design as I have been with astrology. Like I've been spending a lot of focus on just understanding astrology, and especially like my own astrology. And so I just really haven't been engaging with a lot of human design content. Like I really haven't been keeping on top of it. So as a 5/1, I think I just feel a bit insecure about making that the prominent thing. And I honestly, I can't even say that's going to change. Like I'm not saying that like I'm going to start diving heavily back into human design just yet. I know the basics. I know all of the shit that like I did learn before. But yeah, that is the truth. That is the truth that I haven't been as on top of that as I have been on top of astrology. I mean, obviously, astrology is also included in like human design, but anyway, that would be getting into a bit of like semantics. So, from here on, for however long, I'm just going to stick to doing human design profile readings. The 333 readings are still available. Those are the only that's the only offering that I have right now. Like, I'm not doing longer form, or I'm not doing one-on-one, like, personal readings for the time being. I had a couple people email me about a personal reading, like a longer form personal reading, and I just don't feel called, or it just doesn't feel good for me to put energy into those for right now. For whatever reason, I mean, I do feel like I'm in this, like, transitionary phase, and I'm like literally in the middle of it, like that liminal space, and I just kind of feel like I need to kind of keep my energy, like, focused on whatever is going to unfold, like, with that. And for whatever reason, it just doesn't feel good to offer, like I said, like, anything basically beyond, like, those 333 readings. So, which is also, like, kind of scary, right? Like, because I'm like, ugh. I could use the money right now. I could use, really, ultimately, I could use the money right now. Like, that is the truth of it. I could use the money, but that is the only thing, like, and that's not, like, a very good, that's not a motivator that, like, feels good, for me right now. So the capacity that I do have is, again, the 333 readings. The basics of that is that it's $3.33. You would Venmo me $3.33 and include your email address, and I will pull 2 cards for you. The first card would be the door, or, that's basically the obstacle or the opportunity, or the thing that you are standing in front of, or the thing that you are coming up to in your life. And then the key would be the guidance or the advice, or how to work through that obstacle, or, rite of passage, or, whatever. And the readings that I have done on those so far, and thank you to those who have requested that offering, they have been so amazing and so cool. But it is a written reading, so you'll get a PDF with a picture of the tarot card. The interpretation that I have for it, and then any, overall, like, thoughts or things that I kind of picked up on in those cards too. So again, like I said, the ones that I have done have been so amazing and so cool, just the way that things have unfolded. And, the people who have gotten those readings, there's been great feedback from those readings as well. So thank you also for that. And I'll put, of course, an explanation of that in the description. Yeah, really quick then, because this is long as hell all of a sudden. Let me just introduce the decks that we're going to be using. The tarot deck is the Wandering Moon Tarot, and the I was going to say the affirmation deck, which I guess that it is, but the Oracle deck that we're going to be using is the Inner Fucking Peace deck, and my sister actually sent these cards to me. So yeah, let's get into the reading. Great. So this is the reading for the 5-2 human design profile, the Heretic Hermit. If you don't know what your profile is, there's a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph. And, your profile will be listed on there. Your type will be listed on there as well. So be sure to look out for those once I get those posted, because I'm going to do, well, I said that in the intro, right? Yeah, I'm going to do videos based on type as well. So anyway, Also, like, the reason why I started doing these, we have the Seven of Swords in reverse. Do you see it do its little cartwheel there? The reason why I do these, or the reason why I should say that I started doing these is, for one, when I started doing human design profile readings, I was like obsessed with human design. I mean, I'm still, like, I'm not as obsessed as I was. I know, like I mentioned in the intro as well, that like I haven't been as on top of it as I have with, say, like astrology. But also, like, the main motivation though was that, like, not every 5/2 is an Aries or, a Cancer or whatever. So it was just additional information, or just kind of course, too, just not your traditional tarot reading. I don't know why I felt the need to even tell you that. I don't know. Maybe there's, some area of your life where there's an opportunity to do something different, or to, like, just kind of set yourself apart in some capacity. And which I feel like is also very fifth line coded. Like, it's like understanding the tradition, but being like, I actually kind of see it this way. Or I think that, this thing could work. Because I mean, I'm a 5/1, but anything that is kind of more traditional, I'm like, bleh. Like, how can I spice it up, or how can I make it my own even, or just do it a little bit differently. We have the Four of Wands and the Devil. And then the Six of Cups at the bottom of the deck, or the Six of Moons in this this deck. Let's get your Oracle card out. Silence your inner critic. Critic? What the hell is a critic? Tell that little douchebag voice to pipe down. Let's actually put it on this side, because I feel like that's what the Devil energy is. And I also feel like that's what the Seven of Swords energy is as well. Like, the Seven of Swords is douchebag energy, but it's us being douchebags to ourselves, though. I mean, of course, it can be other people. I mean, we have the Four of Wands here, which generally does have to do with other people. But for me, the Seven of Swords is the card of us fooling ourselves. But, it's a card that talks about betrayal, manipulation as well. It's, in the traditional tarot, there's a figure that's like creeping, tiptoeing away from the enemy camp, carrying 7 swords, and they're manipulating the odds. They're handicapping their enemy so that, they're 7 swords ahead and the people that they're fighting against are without 7 swords, right? So that's kind of like the manipulation thing. It's manipulating the odds. But like I said, like, I see the Seven of Swords as like self-sabotage, the stories that we tell ourselves, the things that, and usually that does in some capacity come from other people. And especially with the fifth line, it could be projections, of course, that, and it doesn't necessarily have to be current, but, and the second line too. I mean, I know a few 2/4s, which obviously is a completely different profile, but I know a few 2/4s that have been burned at the stake worse than I have. And I'm just like dumbfounded by the level of projection that they receive. So, I mean, the second line also comes with its own projection, but it's usually, different. Like, the fifth line is like, you can save the day. Like, it's like just assumed, right? When you show up, you're going to figure it out. You've got it handled, whatever. And if you don't, then you get burned at the stake. Or if you don't, in their level of expectation. The second line is more of like people being able to see something in you that maybe you don't see in yourself. Anyway, I don't know. I totally lost my train of thought. Sorry. I'm sure it'll come back, but let me just move on because I'm like sitting here trying to like get back on whatever track I was on, and it's just not happening. So I'm just going to trust that whatever I was talking about was either not where I needed to go or I said what I needed to say. And again, if there's something important, then it'll come back around. But yeah, I know, like I was talking about this Seven of Swords and with the Six of Cups at the bottom of the deck too, like this is talking about something in the past. It is the card of the past. It's inner child. It also talks about like acts of kindness though, and even using like past experiences to help current circumstances, like like past past experiences, current wisdom type of thing. Like, oh, I've been here before, like I recognize this, I've been through this, I've learned already something about this, and it's like an opportunity to choose differently. Also, with the Seven of Swords being in the reverse, this to me feels like it is more of a personal thing that's like happening internally versus like if it was upright, then, and especially if it was upright next to the Four of Wands, then that to me would be like more of an external expression. Like maybe there are people around you who are just not quite being honest, but also too, like with this tell that little douchebag voice to pipe down, you're definitely at like this point where maybe there is some sort of situation that you're coming up to here with the Four of Wands that you've worked towards, that you have been taking action towards, right? Like you've been putting in the work, you've been showing up, you've been, motivated and figuring out like creative, solutions or whatever. And where you're at now is that voice in your head wanting to self-sabotage. Whatever the story is for you, like I don't deserve this, or this isn't what I actually want, or, like it's not what I thought it was going to be, or, just kind of considering like other people's judgments maybe a bit too much as well. Because again, like it's almost like the Seven of Swords would be the minor arcana card to the Devil card. The Devil card is that douchebag. Like the Devil card is the things that control us. And that is ego, like ego, and I don't, and it, hello, I didn't say it, but swords have to do with our mind and our mindset, our belief systems, truth and honesty. I see swords as being ego as well, because that's generally where we tend to hear our ego is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, circumstances, situations, feelings, right? And it becomes our beliefs. It becomes the reasons why we do things and why we don't do things. It's literally the reason why we operate in our lives the way that we do, why we make the decisions that we do, why we have the people in our lives that we do, how we get into relationships, how we literally every fucking thing, right? Like it's the filter, like we're constantly consuming life, right? Like life is constantly happening. We're taking it in and it's going through the filter of our ego, and it kicks out a story of what the perspective is based on our trauma, our disappointments, our successes, our happiness, our hopes, our dreams, homeostasis, right? That's all swords. And this swords card, it's like, you know, those Brene Brown calls them gremlins, right? Like it's shame, guilt, scared, you know, fear, anxiety. Again, you know, it's that self-sabotage. It's the shit that would keep you small. And it's really because like your brain, I figured this out for myself sometime at the end of last year. Like our brains really are like designed to keep us safe and alive, right? And when we have experiences in our lives that create a big response, that creates, you know, fight or flight, you know, like survival mode, right? Like that triggers something in our brain that, oh shit, whatever that is that's happening, because our brain doesn't know, right? Our brain doesn't know that it's just, you know, an encounter that we're having with another person, or, you know, if you were a kid or a teenager and it's an interaction that you're having with your parent or your friend or a teacher or whatever, you know, but it is creating such a response in the body and creating so much anxiety that like there's so many different parts of you that are activated. All that your brain knows is that it's got to keep you safe, right? It's got to do whatever it needs to do to calm things down, to attach whatever meaning to that sensation, to that feeling, so that if it happens again, it knows what to do. It's all just based on data, right? Information. And so when similar situations happen, or when the body starts to feel certain sensations again, your brain's like, I know what that is. I know, you know, this is what we're going to do. We're going to kick out these stories. We're going to kick out this thing because it's feeling unsafe. My job is to keep this body safe and alive and functioning. And they are, you know, starting to, there's this activation happening here. And again, your brain doesn't know that. It's just, maybe it's a bit of excitement. Maybe it's a bit of uncertainty. Maybe it's, you know, kind of uncharted territory, right? Your brain doesn't know that it could be something that you're excited about, that you have been, you know, putting a lot of energy into accomplishing. It just knows, it recognizes that feeling. So it throws us back into an old program because it knows what to do with that, right? Like it knows how to get through that because it already has. That's how homeostasis happens. That's how we, you know, come up with our patterns and our behaviors and our identities. And then like once it works, once we kind of like succumb to those, you know, self-sabotaging things, and, you know, we make the decision, this isn't right for me. It's not the right time. You know, the anxiety or, you know, feeling this way about it must mean something, or, you know, whatever it is that we come to, and we let it go. It's like, you know, when our body relaxes, then, you know, like our brain's like, okay, we can breathe now, right? Like we saved them. And so for me, I was doing a shake plate every day, which I like fell off the wagon on. And I had this realization one day while I was doing the shake plate that there have been so many times where I have created so much fucking stress in my body and so much fucking anxiety in my body that my brain has just been like, just shut it all down. like don't try anything. Like, we're not going to try anything. Anytime there's anything new, a new experience, going to a new place, anything that could bring up or activate any little amount of anxiety, shut it down. And I did that because through experiences or whatever, like I created so much anxiety in my body that the only way to like prevent that attack from happening is to like not do anything, but also, and it did, it kept me safe for a little while, but now, like I was at the point where I'm like, no, like I want to try different experiences and I want to do all these things and blah, blah, blah. So it really is like, coming up with, or even just noticing when you are activated in your body and especially when these stories are getting really loud and nonstop, to allow yourself to slow down, Savannah, right? And first of all, hear what the story is saying. What is the story telling you? Right? And then it's also asking yourself, not in your head, but asking your body, is that story true? I promise you 9.5 times out of 10, it's not true. It's not something you actually believe. I 100%, 10 out of 10 times believe that your body trusts you more than your brain does. Which is also even like very strategy and authority. Like our strategy and authority is designed to help us enter into the quote unquote correct experiences. And especially to like for fifth lines, especially to for 5-2s. Like it's allowing invitations or responses, or whatever you're responding to, or whatever you want to initiate, whatever is like entering your life, right? To go through your strategy and authority. The other part of that is trusting that no. It's, and especially if it is something that you are excited about. It's also having to trust the yes too, because it could be either one of these that douchebag is, getting kind of loud about. And again, right, like our bodies don't necessarily, or our brains don't necessarily recognize the difference between anxiety that's excitement and anxiety that's like running for our lives, like trying to save ourselves. It's just recognizing that there's activation going on there. So then it's going to start, playing the tapes, like it's going to start kicking out stories. And all that is like, and again, for you, it's like recognizing when those stories are coming up, where am I in this process? Like, am I coming up to a point that maybe again is uncharted territory? Like, am I just anxious because I am excited? Like, am I anxious because I'm a little afraid? But again, checking in with yourself and like, do I trust myself? Hell yes, you do. Yes, you do. Like, is this the correct experience for me? And so again, like I said, like having basically like the minor arcana card and the major arcana card that are basically pretty much the same card out, and the 4 of Wands in the middle, which again is success. And also like victory, like, harmony, union, it's people celebrating you. It says that the steps that you have taken thus far have gotten you to a point of security and foundation. Maybe there are other people involved here as well. I'm actually kind of curious all of a sudden about what the book says. I am the card of completion. All that you have worked for has come to fruition. This is a time of celebration and to rejoice in your success. Gather your nearest and dearest and raise a toast to all you have achieved. Success in business, marriage, fruitful business partnerships, short-term rewards. And maybe too, there could be people around you that are projecting. Maybe you are not receiving the flowers because people are jealous or because people are envious, or you did something that they couldn't do, or you're receiving some sort of recognition that they want, or, because again, like, we have to keep in mind, you have two lines of projection here. And if that is the case, then I would say, like, take your success to, or how do I want to say that? Like post online. I just want to say, I just want to say out loud that, I got this promotion, or I was successful in doing this, or, I got that job, or, whatever it is. I'm really proud of myself for whatever, right? Like, I'm not kidding. Take it to the internet. It could also even be being discerning with who you share that shit with. Like, again, I'm a 5'1", and I don't share everything with everybody I know. I have a really small circle of friends. Like, I'm the type of person that, like, I'd rather make $1 out of 4 quarters than 100 pennies or 20 nickels or 10 dimes. I've always been that way. Anyway, like, big groups of people just stress me out. Like, I never felt safe. But I don't share everything with everyone because I have, and depending on who it is, I haven't received a good response, or it just hasn't matched, like, my level of excitement or whatever. And I know that is a projection, and too, like, even just, like, sharing my overall, like, feelings and stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I don't do that with everybody. Like, not everybody should have access to your joy, or, like, because unbeknownst to them, or, it's maybe not even intentional sometimes, but some people really struggle with seeing other people succeed. It just fucking sucks, but that is unfortunately the truth. And this too, it's like, this is you kind of like against you type of thing. Like, this is you, again, like, noticing what the stories are, noticing, what it is that keeps you held back. Like, where in your mind or in your behaviors or in your patterns do you shrink yourself, or do you you come up to these things and then shit happens, or we think that there's something that's out of our control that ruins an opportunity or something, and I'm just saying to be aware of that. And even, again, like, with this 6 of Cups here, this is something that has been going on for some time. So I'm just saying, like, be aware of what those stories are, what those patterns are, and slow down. Because truly, like, the only way I have found to change that dynamic, right, is to constantly be self-soothing. Anytime, there's that activation and that anxiety comes up, and then right behind it is that douchebag voice, putting a meaning to it, right? Like, oh, there's an activation in the body. Let's kick out these stories, right? It's automatic. When I find that happening, I'm like, okay, slow down. Like, what am I doing? Right? Like, am I, again, in uncharted territory? Am I, making changes? Am I, choosing differently? And, I allow those stories to play. I check in with my body. Are those stories true? No. Is that a story and a program and an outcome that I want to repeat? No. Do I have any fucking clue how it's going to go? Like, what the next step is? No. Is that okay? Yes. Like, am I safe? Yes. Right? And it's literally like having to talk yourself through it. It's literally having to like self-soothe and constantly, because the shit is just going to keep happening like every, 30 seconds. So just constantly, because that's the thing, right? Like, if you are in uncharted territory, there's no framework for your brain, for your body to latch onto, right? Like, there's no information for it to determine like what is going to happen, how you're going to feel about it, what's going to be, the result and whatever. So it's like literally taking one step at a time. Again, just constantly telling yourself that you are safe, that, like this is the plan. You knew that there was going to be some unknown. Uncertainty is totally fine. Like, uncertainty means we are moving away from limiting beliefs. That's all that uncertainty is, right? Like, uncertainty is not succumbing to an old story, not succumbing to like an old pattern of behavior. It's truly something new. And it's only uncertain for like a little fucking while, like we just keep making decisions, like, okay, here I am, now what, like, where am I going? Where do I want to go? What's the result here? And we have to do that with that douchebag voice, like being loud as hell sometimes. But it's just, like getting further and further away from the self-sabotage. And when it does get really loud, it's not quitting, or it's not just succumbing to that. It's pausing. It's giving yourself grace, giving yourself compassion. If it gets really loud, just stop for a second and really take care of yourself. Focus on something else, like read a book, color, craft, watch a movie, like, just kind of something that, again, it's like soothing, it's comforting, but it's not retreating. It's not going back. It's not just absolutely quitting. It's just also to recognizing I am fucking scared right now, or I am fucking anxious right now. And I'm not going to do anything out of fear or anxiety. So I'm just going to stop. And I'm going to take care of myself through this. And when it starts to feel a little bit better, or when I feel like I have a little bit more control over how I'm feeling, then I'll proceed forward. And also, too, it's like one of those things, like if you don't have clarity, wait for clarity to come. If it's not clear, don't do anything. Of course, if you have, access or if that's possible. Like if you don't have to make a decision yet, don't, and especially don't do it out of fear or anxiety. Especially don't do it out of, a limiting belief. The Wanderer is behind that, and it's, like one of, I think, 3 additional. Remaining grounded, being present, appreciating you as a multidimensional being, consciousness remaining in your heart space, integration of the self. Yeah. This card represents the I am presence, the multidimensional part of our consciousness. It is your past, present, and future self combining to make up the sum of you as a spiritual being in your physical body. It is your connection to source energy and the ability to manifest. This card is asking you to connect with your I am presence, to interact with others from a place of love, to be mindful and appreciative of the moments you find yourself in. It's a reminder of the importance of being present in everyday life. I feel like that's literally everything that we just fucking talked about. And especially like with the 2 of Cups, the 2 of Wands behind it. This is, making connections, shared values, reciprocity, like it's sharing your emotional energy like with somebody else who has a capacity to do that with you as well. Even the 2 of Wands, like planning for the future. And even, like there's 2 hands, like in both, right? It's like the emotional side of things and the action side of things. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.